Hello again, Stitchy friends. My name is Suzette, also known as Primitive Stitcher. Today is Sunday, April 25th, 2021. Thank you for joining me for a visit again today. It's been another minute. I have been well, just super busy with work. Our school year will end in about another month, the very beginning of June, and I think we are all ready for this school year to be done. Thank you for all your kind comments on my last video. I think that I have seen them all, but I will go through and double check, and if there's a question, I will go ahead and answer that. Otherwise, I just give it a heart to let you know that I read it and I appreciate your comments. What am I going to show you today? Well, I'm going to try to make this a fairly quickish video because later in the week I want to do another video explaining my Mania plans for this year. I have been doing Mania since 2016. I would have done it in 2015, but I was in the middle of an overseas move, and I've loved it every year that I've done it. So I will be participating again this year. But for today, I'm going to show you my works in progress. I have some finishes, and I have only two things that I've purchased. So in March, I participated in Abby Bella's Stitch Asia project. And I think that I mentioned this in my last video that I would be working on Let Freedom Ring by Lila Studio. And I stitched on this project Monday through Friday in the evenings after work, and then I stitched on other things on the weekend. So prior to picking this back up, I had this whole lower section done here. So when I picked it up, I put in the grass and basically the foundations of the building. And so this time I stitched or started the north elevation here and the trees. And I feel like I made a good dent in it. It was a pleasure to stitch. I'm looking forward to getting to the main part of the building and then up into those beautiful flowers. So that was my progress on Let Freedom Ring. Oh, and I'm stitching that on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus, using all the call for over dyes, and I believe there are some DMC on that one. For my next work in progress, this is a piece that I am working on during my lunchtime at work. It was a free design by Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery called Black Lives Matter Pin Keep. And he just requested that you make a donation to a charity of your choice. And I am stitching mine on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha, 1/2. So I completed one side of the pincushion and then started on the second side. I have all the white or ecru finished on that part, and I'm just filling in with the red. And then next I will go on and do the band on around the side. This is actually a very easy one to stitch. I go over to a park near my school and sit and stitch for a little while. It's a nice little breather for the day. The next piece that I have been working on is one of my older WIPS by Rosewood Manor called Antique Tin Tiles. I think I started this back in 2017. And some of my longtime viewers may remember that I overdyed some floss for this. And I'll show you that in a moment. But I picked this up, and I believe I may have just barely had the top portion of this block done. And, oh no, I didn't, because I didn't have the dividing row there between the blocks. So I did that. Then I completed this block and started in on that one. I don't know what fabric this is. It's I believe a 36 count something. It's not Zweigart. It's very thin, but it's enjoyable to stitch on. Vane is here with me in the room, so you may hear him occasionally. When I'm stitching with just a single color floss, because he likes to get into a lot of things. He likes to eat floss. I purchased one of these little boxes so that when I get up from my chair, I can just close the box and I know that he won't get into my needles or my scissors or my needle minders, my stitching glasses. But the floss that I overdyed originally looked, here, I'll hold it up against the fabric. It's DMC 926. So this is the original, and these are my overdyes. And I overdyed using walnut stain because I wanted it to have a very antique look to it. And if you've ever seen any old antique tin ceiling tiles, they may have rusted a bit, and that was the effect that I wanted to try to achieve with my overdyes. And I'm stitching that 1/2 as well on that mystery fabric. So those were my three current works in progress pieces. And now I will show you my finishes. My first finish was another modern folk embroidery. I started this was my new year, new start. It's called Suzanne Walker 1848. And this is not a good picture of it. This is my bad printer. Oh, and I forgot to look and see what fabric I stitched this on. Let me see if I have it. I think, oh, it's 36 count vintage beeswax. And here is my finish. I really loved stitching this. So kind of basically what I have been doing lately is choosing one project to work on Monday through Friday in the evenings, and another project to work on the weekends. And that gives me some good solid time, I think, especially on the weekends, to get more accomplished. My next finish is another one that I believe I started in 2018 on this one. I think I started in Mania 2018. And it is by Shakespeare's Peddler, called God Save the Queen. And this one was just so quirky in so many ways. And Teresa, also known as Kitten Stitcher, explained this on one of her FlossTube videos. And I just felt like I had to stitch it after I heard her explain all the little bits and pieces of it. I believe that I pretty much had everything done over to the Queen, and maybe had started on the Queen. So I had completed this section, and so everything to this side of the Queen is what I completed. It was actually a fairly quick stitch, and I think this one is on, I had it all down here. I think it's, is it the Zweigart Mallow, maybe? And then my third finish was from, when did I start this? I think this was a 2017 start. I'm trying to get some of my older pieces completed because there's so much more that I want to stitch. And this one is by Heartstring Samplery, Cross Stitch Nation. And this one I am stitching on a 32 count. I'm not sure who the dyer is of this color, but it's called Autumn Field or Autumn Fields. And I chose not to do the bottom border. I also chose to change some of the skin tones so that it was more of a, represented more of what our world looks like. I enjoyed stitching on this. I haven't decided if I'm going to make it into a drum. I've seen some very beautiful drums made up, or if I'm going to frame it. But I'm happy to have that one also complete. Okay, excuse me one moment, sorry. Dropped something. My two, well, I do have some other purchases, which I'll explain in a moment, but the only two patterns that I purchased was the new Prairie Schooler. And do you notice anything about this? Yes, it's crooked. So part of my floss key on the back is chopped off, but I think I can look at it and figure it out. And then the other item that I received was number 4 in the Schoolgirl Club from Country Sampler Spring Green. And it's by the Needlework Press, Marguerite Croft. And it came in kit form with my 40 count. Looking forward to a start on that at some point. My other purchases, which are in my workshop down in the basement, are framing tools, because I have so many things that I want to frame, and I have a huge selection of thrifted frames, but they're not necessarily the right size. So I bought some tools to be able to help me cut those. Well, I had the miter saw already, but I bought a a tool to help me reassemble the frame once I've gotten it cut to size. And then I bought the, what are those little things? The point setter. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot of fully finished items this summer, fingers crossed. But as far as actual stitching things, I only purchased the two things. I did kit up, and I'm dying to start this, but I'm gonna wait, I think. The GGR MJ 1810. So I have all the fabric, all the threads ready to go when I do decide to get that started. So I think that's about it. This is going to be actually a very short one, which is okay because then it won't take as long to upload. And hopefully I will be back because I have some great Mania plans that I want to share with you and show you all of those things that I hope to work on during Mania. Until then, my friends, I hope you are all well. I hope that you get lots of good stitching time in, and you're healthy, happy, and stitching always. Bye for now.